Howdy folks, welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. Been messing around in patch 1.37 and there's something that, well, a lot of people are complaining about the matchmaking without fully understanding what's going on behind the scenes when you select a lineup of aircraft. Obviously if you go to the research tree, aircraft are split into 5 different ranks now, so you've got your rank 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s and 5s. Of course, not everybody's tech tree is fleshed out quite as well as everybody else. You can see the Americans have 6 different rank 5s to choose from. The Germans only have 4, and one of them is a joke. The Russians have 6 to choose from, including 2 MiG-15s. Yikes. The British are quite well represented. They have 5, even though the Vampire, which is technically a rank 5 aircraft, I wouldn't put into a rank 3 battle. And the Japanese, unfortunately, only have 1, the KI-200. But it's not just the rank of the aircraft that the matchmaker takes into account. Each aircraft is given a battle rating. So, for example, if we go back to the Americans, what I have here is an exclusive rank 2 American aircraft. So you'd expect to hit the battle button and get thrown into a rank 2 game. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because if you mouse over the aircraft, you're going to see that the P-40E-1 has a battle rating of 2.7. That means it's effectively rank 2.7. It's almost rank 3 as far as the matchmaker is concerned. And there it is. You were actually looking at a picture of the P-400 there. The F-6F, the good old Hellcat, is battle rating 3. It's considered to be a rank 3 aircraft, in effect, even though it sits here in rank 2. It's a very, very good rank 2 aircraft. The XP-50, experimental heavy fighter, is actually rank 3.3, or battle rating 3.3. The A-20, 2.7, so it's still at the high end. The P-39Q5 Airacobra, 3.3 again. The F-4U-1A, 3.3. The P-39N Airacobra, 3.3. The P-400 is 3. I strongly disagree with that assessment. That thing is not very good. And the trusty TBF-1C Avenger, 2.3. So you can see that the battle ratings of the aircraft that I have selected here in my American lineup is actually quite heavily skewed towards higher tier matchmaking. So this can be why you think the matchmaker's screwing you over when you're picking a rank 2 lineup and you're getting, more often than not, into rank 3 games. Now it's important to bear in mind that the battle ratings of your aircraft are different in arcade and historical, or what they call realistic battles now. And just as an example, if you were to look at something like the Yak-9T, in fact, let's find it and I'll show you what I mean. It's got to be here somewhere. There you go, Yak-9T. Now, whoa, there you go. It's a rank 3 aircraft, but its battle rating is 3.7. Now, the Yak-9T is deadly in arcade battles, but it's not very good in historical or realistic, because it only gets 30 rounds of ammo for that 37mm cannon, and in realistic battles, what used to be known as historical battles, you can't reload the thing in the air. And once you run out of ammunition, which happens very quickly with that 37mm cannon, you're reduced to having one 12.7mm machine gun. And that only has 200 rounds of ammunition. So the Yak-9T is actually dog shit in historical battles, unless you are an incredibly good shot. Arcade, different matter entirely. When you can reload in the air and train your reload skill, you can get this thing, it just never runs out of ammo. And so the limitations of something that give it a worse battle rating in historical or realistic battles mean that it can still be a very, very good aircraft in arcade and have a higher battle rating in arcade than it would in historical. Well, I keep calling it historical, they're called realistic battles now. And of course there is one other factor that influences the kind of matchmaking you get, although it's a much, much smaller factor compared to the rank and battle rating of the aircraft that you've selected, and that's of course your own performance. So if you are doing very, very, very well, consistently getting big kill streaks, taking out lots of ground targets, the Matchmaker will start to add a modifier to the battle rating of all your aircraft. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to guarantee you to get into rank 3 games when you choose your rank 2 aircraft, for example, but it will skew the matchmaking weight in that direction, so you will start getting into higher tiered matches more often. And of course the reverse is also true. If you're not doing too well and you're having a horrible losing streak game after game after game, the Matchmaker will start to again skew the weight of the matchmaking down a little bit to give you a slightly easier time and let you recover from a losing streak. And as an example of what can happen if you pick an aircraft lineup that is heavier battle tiered than its rank would suggest, here's a little game I had. So I have a rank 1 German lineup, and the only reason I picked this lineup was because I thought, you know what, I may as well unlock everything for the BF-110. I've had it long enough. I hate this thing. I really hate this thing. I've unlocked most of the modifications for this aircraft. Why do I hate it? Well, because it flies like a brick. When this thing was used in the Battle of Britain, it was supposed to be an escort for the bombers, the HE-111s and the Dorniers. And it very early on in the Battle of Britain became apparent that they had to provide escorts for the escorts, because the BF-110 as a heavy fighter, it just sucked. Spitfires and Hurricanes owned this thing. And it very early on in its career ended up being relegated to the night fighter role. It very definitely was not a frontline heavy fighter aircraft. And this happened to a lot of aircraft that were designed in the 1930s and maybe did well, for example, in the Spanish Civil War when flown by the Condor Legion. But the pace of aircraft development in the mid-30s and the early 40s was so rapid. Oh, I love this. Yeah, go on, use suicide. And I'll get the kill anyway. Well, it was an assist. I do love that when people, you know, and they're just doing it out of spite. When they know they're going to go down, and instead they just try to ram a ground target instead to deny you the kill. And you get the kill or you get the assist anyway. Oh, it's so satisfying. So the BF-110 in the game, it is very heavily armed. It's got all these 20mm cannons. Oh, got an assist on that fella. I ended up getting a lot of assists in this match. And yeah, so rank 1 German lineup, purely and simply, and there's another hit, purely and simply because I just wanted to get the unlocks on this thing. I didn't really care what else I was flying. And this thing just, oh man. Oh, that was good. My first kill. I'm having to... It's kind of a little like the situation you get when you're flying the Corsairs. The Corsairs, on paper, do not turn very well at all. But if you keep the speed up and you make judicious use of the landing flaps, the Corsair can turn on a dime. And there's another assist. And the BF-110 is kind of like that, just nowhere near as good at it, because it just bleeds off speed. I mean, it can't get very fast in the first place, unlike the Corsair. And it bleeds off speed when you turn, and you're using the elevators. You roll the plane over like this, and then you use the elevators to pull a steeper turn. It just practically stalls in the air. And I'm taking hits. Generally speaking, when you're flying one of these things and you get a proper fighter on your tail, you are dead meat. The tail gunner doesn't have a great fire arc. If you have a look, and you can see he can barely peek over the rear of the fuselage. And I've lost an engine. So, am I going to be able to land this thing? Let's see if we can sneak a few more. Nah, completely missed this guy. Now, there are, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 guys on him. I thought, it'll be safe to land. Surely. Yeah. And this was a tough landing. I mean, I couldn't line up with the airstrip. I didn't have the speed. I was down to one engine. I had to put it down, hammer the brakes, try not to flip it, turn, and yeah. And I ended up parking it on its nose anyway. And for God's sake, there's 3 of you on him. Will somebody please shoot that guy down? And he's going to have another go at me before I manage to get this thing airborne. God, these guys sucked so hard. And I was actually taking some hits there from friendly fire from these incompetents trying to get this guy out. Oh man, here it comes again. But very, very minor damage, nothing. And I'm trying to get the bloody gear up. I swear I pressed the G key there. Nothing happened. Now, proper flight sim players are probably watching what I'm doing right now and just crying tears of pure frustration. Welcome to the War Thunder arcade flight model, where pretty much everything flies like a UFO. I cannot even begin to imagine what it must be like trying to fly a BF-110 in realistic. There's another hit. I'm going to get an assist out of that. In arcade, this thing is just about flyable. Even with, you know, a whole bunch of flight performance unlocks. And it was around about now that I started thinking, hang on a minute, did I just see an MC202 Folgore? And wasn't that a Dornier 217? What are they doing in a rank 1 game? Oh, got him. And I started looking around at the aircraft that were flying on my team as well, and I'm thinking, this is a rank 2 match. Yep, there's rank 2 planes in this game. What the hell's going on? There's Dornier 217s, MC202s, BF-109E5s. How am I not dead? And what did I do to get into a game like this? Of course, up until this match, I'd never really paid any attention whatsoever to the battle ratings of the aircraft. I didn't actually understand what battle rating meant. It wasn't until this game happened that prompted me to investigate further. At this exact point in the game, I wasn't actually... You know, you can't do anything about it when you're in the middle of the game. All I was doing was cursing the matchmaker for screwing me over. Scored a couple of hits on that Hawk. I should be able to get an assist out of it if I can catch him, which is by no means guaranteed. Looks like he's going for that guy taxiing on the runway. I thought he might actually be dumb enough to try to ram him on the runway, which would have been hilarious because it doesn't work. You can't collide with an aircraft that's on the ground. All you do is crash. And he just goes, oh, what was that noise? Carries on flying and takes off. But he didn't, and I ended up getting yet another assist. And by some miracle, flying a horribly underranked aircraft, I haven't been shot down yet. Of course, now that I have realised what kind of match I'm in, prior to this I was just flying around, you know, not caring, just attacking whoever, but now I've realised that I am right at the bottom of the feeding chain here, so now I'm starting to play things a little bit more cautiously. There's a Chiker over there. Not sure what he's doing here. When he went with dive like that, he didn't seem to drop any bombs. And low on power, as he reached the top of that climb, he made himself... Well, I'm not going to say he made himself an easy kill, because it's not easy to get the guns of this thing pointed at anything. But he certainly made it easier. Here comes an MC200. Scored a hit, but nothing critical. Pull this thing around. He's not going after me. And you know, BF-110s are such easy kills, it never ceased to amaze me that nobody seemed to... I mean, a couple of people took shots at me, but nobody really seemed to stick on me and try to finish me off. Which is quite surprising, because, well, you know what it's like. People see easy kills, they tend to go for them at the exclusion of all others. And the BF-110 is an easy kill. There's a lag 3. I just want to score a hit. And again, using the flaps, using the elevators. Really hard to get. I mean, a powerful armament, but you've got to be able to aim it at what you're shooting at for it to be of any use. Check my 6, there are all players coming in. Here comes that lag. And the thing about the BF-110 is, even if you do try to avoid head-on collisions, it just responds so slowly to the controls. If I'd been flying a BF-109E5 there, at the point that I broke left to try to avoid him, I would have gotten away with it, but not in a BF-110. And of course, he couldn't do anything about it because I'd shot him down. You know, he was no longer in control of his aircraft, so shit happens. Now then, I'm also trying to chase some of the Italian medals, so I'm playing my Italian Air Force aircraft wherever possible as well. And so here we are in the MC200 Series 7, and this thing's a piece of shit as well. Relatively heavily armed for a rank 1 aircraft. It's got 50 caliber or 12.7mm machine guns, but it just... ooh, the flight model is... it could be accurate, I don't know, but it's not very good. Well, you know, being completely fair to it, it's not terrible either. It's just, there's nothing that really stands out about this aircraft. It's kind of like an Italian version of the P-36 Hawk. Maybe I just need to fly it more, because I do like the P-36 Hawk. Or I like the P-36G anyway. That gets 50 caliber machine guns. And this is, you know, kind of the same. However, I've flown this thing so little that, as you can tell by the colour of my tracer, this is default ammunition. And without the upgraded 12.7mm machine guns, the shots scatter all over the place. Whoa! Watch where you're flying, sunshine. Yeah. Right. Gee, there's another one. Okay. Yeah. And there's another one. It's getting... How many times have you seen this sort of situation in a random battle where your teammates are more of a danger to you than the enemy? Finally scored a hit. Yeah. No. Screw that. I'm going to get some sky. He's down. I really did not feel safe with all those friendlies behind me and that enemy in front of me. Managed to get away without taking any damage though. Reload my guns. Have a look around. Pick a friendly target. Actually, no. I was planning on picking something rank 2 and flying with him, shooting at anybody who went for him, and then... Yep, there's a victim over here instead. Need to keep an eye on that fella up there, though. I really don't like the look of that. I'm going after this Ishak, but I've had games Oh, he's down. Okay. Let's bring it around. Yeah, that Ju-87 wasn't going for me. But I've had games tonight where I've been in that exact situation, and I've taken my eye off that Ju-87 for a second, and the next thing I know, 20mm or 37mm cannon shells are shredding me apart. But not this time. Looks like he's trying to bomb our airfield. Seriously, if you're flying a dive bomber, don't try to bomb an airfield. Alright, go for the pillboxes and the heavy tanks. You will not survive your bombing run on the airfield if there are fighters nearby, because you're a dive bomber. You don't even get your bomb aiming reticle until you put the nose of the aircraft down and start going into a dive, and all you're doing is sacrificing altitude. Right? You're making it easier for the fighters to come and get you. As is happening here. Especially in arcade, where, yeah, you build up all that speed in the dive, but everybody has engine boost in arcade. They can catch you, and that's exactly what happened to that guy. It'd have been far better going after pillboxes, heavy tanks, you know, things like that. Because a Ju-87 doesn't even have the bomb load to take out an airstrip anyway. You would probably have to reload 20 or 30 times to do it. Leave the airstrips and the big stationary targets, the area targets, leave them. Oh, doing all right here. But yes, leave that sort of thing to the medium and the heavy bombers. Dive bombers, like the Ju-87 in particular, are just far, far better at going after things like pillboxes, you know, heavy tank columns, things like that. Well, anyway, chasing after that Ju-87 took me well away from the action, so put this thing into a shallow climb, put some energy in the bank, and hello. See if we can score a hit on this guy. Yep, got a hit. No, I'll have to settle for an assist. There's too many people on him, and I'm not going to. Actually, turning around would be a very, very good idea right now. There's a P-40 over there, and I definitely saw a MiG-3 and a Yak-7. The P-26 I could probably handle. He's the same rank as me, but the rest of them are all rank 2, so bugger that. If they want to come after me, and they are coming after me, I'll lead them towards the rest of my team. Unfortunately, I made a couple of mistakes here. I didn't lead them far enough, for one thing. And then I got my dumb ass into a head-on, which is never a good idea, especially not if you're getting into a head-on with a Yak-7B, because he's got a 20mm cannon. Scoring a hit is not good enough. So that was spectacularly stupid. And I got what I deserved. So, HE-112B1, premium aircraft. And it does have a 20mm cannon and two 7.92mm machine guns. Unfortunately, it only has 40 rounds of ammunition for each gun. And it's another one of those aircraft that does not fly very well unless you use the flaps and the throttle. And the elevators. Unlike the BF-110, it holds a decent bit of speed. Scored a hit. Nothing critical though. All these guys are higher ranked than me, of course. Pick another target. Spread the love around. Oh, good stuff. That was a useful kill. I'd done bagged me a MiG-3. See if I can spread the love around on this Hurricane as well. Scored multiple hits and oh crap. Well, I went to brake right. Unfortunately, so did he. I left it too late. That was 100% my fault. I'd critted him, damaged his wing. That would have been a kill, but I flew into him, and instead, I got nothing out of it. He went down in a crash. And that is why you've got to watch your distance when you're in mid-air engagements. If he goes down in a crash, it's not a kill. Right? All you've succeeded in doing, all I've done here is wrecked my left wing. All that work I put into nailing that Hurricane, wasted because I left it too late to break. Meanwhile, how about this for some evasive flying? I don't know how many, I don't even dare turn the camera around to check how many of them are on me. And he's overflown. It's a Yak 7B. Oh, shit. Come on, watch out. I mean, I appreciate the assistance, but I've got this. There we go. Almost plugged my wingman there, and there's still another one on me. Let's see if I can get some shots into that. HE112. Yep, hit him. He's not the only one who just got hit, though. Alright, Jingles, just for now, just concentrate on keeping some air between you and the ground. It doesn't look like I'm being shot at anymore. So, help your wingman. Let's get some shots into this guy. Oh, no. No, I just can't manoeuvre fast enough. And, oh, we've won. Game over. Hey, check that out. Punisher. A rank 1 fighter hunter award in a rank 2 game. Not too bad. Okay, so that was the first win of the day for the Germans. So, let's see what we got out of that. New 20 mils for the BF-110 at last. We'll go for wing covers next. Ammo belts for the MC200. That's going to help a lot. Instead of firing the default ammo all the time. And we got the compressor as well. Good stuff. Yeah, well, no, actually, we'll go for that. And that's all the rank 1 upgrades for the MC200. We'll take that and concentrate. There we go. Okay, so let's examine this in more detail. My lineup was all rank 1, and that was a rank 2 game. Now, it's not just the rank of the aircraft that's taken into consideration. Let's have a quick look there. You know what? I think I did bloody well in that game. Especially given the ranking of the battle that I was in. What's that? Yeah, damn right. Have a look at this. Let's just see. So this is a rank 1 lineup. I mean, I had a biplane in the rank. You know, crap like the G50 Series 7AS. The BF-110. Now that's a rank 1. However, its battle rating is 2. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. You saw how the thing flew. The fact that it has a bunch of 20mm cannons is irrelevant. The ability to actually point the cannons at the aircraft you want to shoot down, battle rating 2, my arse. HE112B1, apparently that's battle rating 2 as well. Well, yeah, I don't know about that either. 1.7, 2, 2, 2. That thing's only 1.3. And that thing's 1.7. Well, I'm not 100% sure I agree with some of the battle ratings of some of these aircraft. There is no way that is a battle rating 2 aircraft. But this is why you're getting into matches where you feel as if the matchmaker is screwing you over. It isn't. But what's actually happening is that, well, not all rank 1 aircraft are created equally. And not all rank 2, 3, 4, or rank 5 aircraft are created equally. It's not so much the rank of the aircraft, although that is a large factor. It's the battle rating of the aircraft. Whether or not you agree with the battle rating that Gaijin have assigned to the aircraft that you want to put in your lineup is a completely different argument. But the battle rating of the aircraft that you're flying plays a much, much greater role in determining the kind of matchmaking you're going to get. Of course, as mentioned at the start of the video, there are other factors as well. Your own personal performance is a factor. It's not a large factor, but it will start to skew the matchmaking weight depending on how well or how poorly you're doing. And of course the time of day that you're playing. However many other people are also playing War Thunder at the same time. When the matchmaker has a very, very limited pool of players from which to draw, it tends to start doing very, very weird things. And so the majority of the time when you end up going up against jets in, for example, your BF-109 F4s, it's usually because the matchmaker is just getting desperate and there isn't enough people available for it to, you know, get a game. if you do end up getting into this kind of match and you just think, hang on, this isn't fair, well, you know, you have options. You can always press the escape button and go back to the hangar and take your chances with a matchmaker again. But stick with it, because shooting down rank 2s and rank 1s, as an example, is where you make the big bucks. Admittedly, that was the first win of the day for my Germans, so it was multiplied by 4, but that was still 12,000 modification XP earned from one arcade battle. And 12,000 modification XP buys a whole bunch of rank 1 aircraft upgrades. It's definitely a case of the bigger the risk, the bigger the rewards. So, there you go. Slightly unbalanced matchmaking, or not. You make your own mind up. But that is, hopefully, it all explained how it works. Whether or not you agree with the system, well, that's an argument for a different video. As always, folks, watch your 6, and I'll catch you next time.